Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. This is the 5th year in a row I am sharing an entire year's worth of empties, even with a move last year, which I must say, I'm pretty impressed with myself. Somehow, I managed to hang on to my giant Chanel shopper, which I've had for the last 3 years now, and I filled her up. So I did empty out this bag. I tallied all of the totals so I can share the final breakdown with you. I spread everything out on the floor so you can get a nice overview of everything I finished. These are my most used products of 2023. I didn't hold on to all of my hair empties last year, but I did keep most of them. I was nervous looking at the bag. I thought this year was going to be pathetic, but when I compared my 2022 empties with 2023, it was pretty comparable in most categories. By the end, I had finished 4 setting sprays, 2 foundations, 2 concealers, 4 powders, 2 bronzer contours, a highlighter, 2 mascaras, 4 brow pencils, 3 eyeliners, 2 lip glosses, 2 lip liners, 2 brow gels, a liquid shadow. And then for skincare, I finished 3 makeup removing balms, 4 Sunless tanners, 2 serums and a retinol, 5 moisturizers, 4 eye creams, and a toner. I always like to set goals for myself the following year based on the previous year's numbers. So when I compare 2023 with 2022, I finished 4 setting sprays last year, and that was a category I knew I really wanted to start getting more use out of because I had a lot of setting sprays. I wasn't truly going through them or using them. Primers, I failed this year. That's one category that I'm never strong with. Foundations was the same, only 2. In previous years, I was finishing 5, 7 foundations every single year. I think that's because my collection has just grown so much. I'm constantly rotating between so many different bottles that it makes it a little bit more difficult to actually go through and finish them. So that's one thing that is in the back of my mind. I know I have way too many foundations and I want to start going through them again. Finishing only 2 foundations in a year is just nuts. Now, we are going to go through all of the main categories and I'm going to share my final thoughts with you and tell you whether or not a product is worth repurchasing or not. If you're sitting here wondering to yourself, why even take on this project? It's kind of silly. I love seeing all of the products I've used up in the year and knowing what I truly go through in my makeup routine. And then I use that information to make informed purchasing decisions. Now that I'm not buying a lot of makeup, it'll definitely keep me motivated on my no buy. The empties bag is like the great truth teller. So I always recommend saving your empties. You certainly don't have to do it for an entire year. Take a shopping bag, tuck it in a closet somewhere so it's out of the way, and then every time you finish a product, throw it in the bag. Wait a couple of months, maybe 6 months, and then see what's in there, and I promise you, you will be surprised. I'm gonna quickly knock out my notable hair empties because I have 2. Every year I always have a lot of Kerastase, Olaplex. 2023 was no different, but anytime I see multiples or duplicates of the same product, I think it is worth mentioning. So this is the Chris Appleton and Colorwell Money Mask for super glossy, expensive looking hair. I currently have an open mask upstairs in the bathroom and I use this mask constantly. It is one of my all-time favorite hair masks. I can confidently say I've used every high-rated hair mask available at Sephora and I always go back to this. I always restock it. Definitely at this point, one of my most restocked products at Sephora. It leaves your hair feeling so silky, but it just detangles your hair so easily in the shower, better than anything else. It truly is a physical, noticeable difference the first time you use this mask. I don't know what's in it. I don't know what ingredient they used, but it definitely feels like magic and I will always purchase this again and again and again. Hair oiling became really popular in 2023 and it also became part of my usual wash day routine. I typically wash my hair twice a week and there are several different hair oils that I really love, but this is clearly a favorite since I was able to finish 3 bottles. This is from Ceremonia. It's the Heritage Scalp Remedy Oil. The smell is amazing, but I love the consistency of this oil because it's pretty easy to wash out. That's my one complaint about some of the heavier hair oils is that they work really well, but even after I shampoo 3 times, I still have a bit of a residue on my hair and sometimes I have to wait a full week until the next wash day until it's completely gone. So I like that I can completely saturate my hair with this oil. I like to treat the scalp from root down to the ends. I'll usually just clip up my hair for about 20 to 30 minutes, go for a long walk, work out, do the dishes, fold laundry, whatever I need to do before I wash my hair. And then as soon as I wash and style as usual, my hair just feels really soft. It feels really hydrated, but it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel like I still have oil in the hair. I do have an open bottle upstairs. It's probably halfway done. I would absolutely repurchase this hair oil. I probably won't for a while simply because I have so many other hair oils now that I just want to go through and use them as well. Let's talk about mists. This is a category that's kind of new for the empties video because I think previously I had no mists, no setting sprays. I said I used 4. I actually have a 5th one here, but this is more of a sunscreen spray. This is from the brand Soleil Toujours. I really like this brand. I know they launched at Sephora last year. I'm not sure if they're completely new. They're definitely new for me. This is their Clean Conscious Set and Protect Micro Mist. It has SPF 30. I typically use this on the weekends. Whenever I'm walking to Pilates, I always want to make sure I have sunscreen. So I just mist myself. That way my skin doesn't feel heavy or sticky before I work out and it doesn't smell funky. And the mist is really fine, so you can make sure you get everywhere. I like to get the back of my ears, my neck, if my hair's up, my stomach, my chest, my arms, everywhere. I'm kind of sad that it's empty. I now have a Super Goop setting spray with SPF. I'm gonna try to use that and then I'll see which one I prefer, but this is one that I certainly would repurchase. And then I was also able to go through this little Caudalie Beauty Elixir. We love this, it's a classic. I also have a mini Iconic London. This is the Prep Set Glow. This is really beautiful. It has shimmer in it, and it doesn't look too much on the skin, but it's there, it's subtle, but you can see this gives you a really pretty glow. So if you like a completely matte base, you will hate this. If you like just a hint of sheen, a little luminosity to the skin, but not too much highlighter, you'll love it. It's amazing. It smells incredible as well. This, I think I already have a large size, but would absolutely recommend 10 out of 10. The Airbrush Hollywood Flawless, what do they call this? Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Party all night, stay all day. You know I love this. I use it just about every single time I do my makeup. I picked up one of the holiday sets that comes with 2 minis, and then I also have one of the jumbo sizes as well. So this I keep in rotation. I will always make sure I have a bottle of this setting spray. One of the first setting sprays that I felt truly impacted my makeup routine where I noticed a difference. And then I also used up this Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. I remember thinking this was really nice and really hydrating. Maybe a little too luminous for my skin. I don't know if it's so memorable or so amazing that I will repurchase this right away. I think for the right skin type, this would be perfect. If you're really dry, you will love this mist. If you're more concerned with longevity of makeup, then I would say the Charlotte Tilbury has the edge. These are my only 2 foundation empties. So disappointing, but lessons learned since I only finished 2 in 2022 as well. So this has to be the year I really need to start going through my foundations. I finished the Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte. This was shade 6 Natural, and then I also finished, this is actually a mini, or it's a travel size. It's still a decent size of the Armani Luminous Silk Perfect Glow Flawless Foundation, and I finished the 5.2. I love this foundation. I have another little mini. I have probably at least 2 full-size bottles since I typically mix 2 shades. I'm somewhere between 5.2 and 5.5. So depending on what I've gone through the most and if there's a savings event, then I'll go with the shade that I don't have. I want to say they're reformulating or they're changing their foundations, Tom Ford. I know this was on super sale at Sephora for a while. I thought about picking it up since it was half price, but it was still close to $50 and I need foundation like a hole in the head, so I did stop myself. I honestly couldn't see myself ever repurchasing this, definitely not full price. As much as I like this formula, obviously I used the entire thing, there are other formulas that I prefer, like my go-to formula right now, the one to beat is the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. That is one of my all-time favorite foundations. If it's not as good or better there would just be no point in repurchasing. These are my two concealer empties. I have a Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer. This has to be my third tube in the last few years. I constantly restock it. I go through it. I currently have one sitting in the top drawer right now. This has been my go-to holy grail for a while now when I'm looking for something more medium full coverage. And then I also finished this little mini NARS concealer. This is the Radiant Creamy in the shade Light 1 Chantilly. I really like this. I'm glad I picked this up again because it had been a while since I had used the NARS concealer, and I've used it in the past and really liked it. I don't think I had my correct shade. This one is the perfect shade for me, and it's really good. I'm actually sort of tempted to replace this. I think I have a NARS concealer in my drawer, but it's the wrong shade, which is very annoying. I am determined to finish a blush in 2024. Even though I didn't finish any blushes last year, I do have two bronzer contour products. The first one is this bronzer from Armani. Scraped clean. I finished every last little bit of this bronzer. It did come with a little brush. And this is actually the Neo Nude Fusion Powder in shade 9. So this comes in a lot of different shades. I think I could probably use a lighter shade as a setting powder as well, but this shade 9 is perfect as a bronzer. This was really easy to go through. I liked it, but it's a really creamy powder. I don't know if this pan is really shallow or what. I feel like I hit pan pretty quickly when I started using this, when I moved it to the top drawer and I was using it really consistently. And then I just went through it quickly. Not something I would run out to replace right away because I'm really determined to start using more of my cream products. I have so many cream bronzers in the drawers, it's bad. Now this is a little mini cream. This is the Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick in shade Truffle. I purchased this a couple years ago. It came with a little mini set. I still have the mini blush and mini highlighter. So the mini contour was pretty easy to use. It's a very tiny little nub. Similar to the NARS, this is something that I traveled with for a long time. And then finally, when I really started to use most of it up, I just went for it and I started using it every day just so I could have the satisfaction of throwing it in the empties bin. So both of these are beautiful products, but I won't be replacing them right away. Powder is one of my stronger categories. For the past 2 years, I've been able to go through 4 powders, which is amazing. I do have a lot of powders, but it's good to know that I at least really use it. So this is the Danessa Myricks Evolution powder. This is really nice. I love how brightening it is, very finely milled, and I really like this kind of bungee situation at the top. It has a flat matte finish, which I really love. This is a powder I would consider repurchasing maybe in the future when I'm able to go through some of the powders that are still sitting in the drawer. I've had this Givenchy powder for years. I'm so glad I was finally able to get rid of it or use it up. And it was always one of my favorites, and I think it kind of sat in the drawer halfway finished for a long time until I finally moved it to the top and said, okay, let's get rid of this. This is the Puja Premiere Matte and Translucent Finish Loose Powder. I don't know if they make this anymore. I think this has basically been replaced by the Prism Lead powder, which has been so popular. And everyone swears by that powder, which comes with the 4 different colors. I always think of this as being the best. I finished another Westman Atelier product. This is their Pink Pressed Powder. I picked this up during one of the Sephora Savings events. I can't remember if it was last spring or maybe the year before. This is the Vital Pressed Skincare Powder in the shade Pink Bubble. It was very pretty, and I definitely liked it. I don't know if I loved this powder as much as I would have hoped, especially for the price. It's very expensive. I love the packaging. I mean, it's certainly luxurious. The powder itself was good, but I think I prefer something that's a little bit more long-lasting, a little bit more mattifying than this. And the 4th and final powder I used up was also a mini. This is from Huda Beauty. This is the Easy Bake, Baby Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder, and this was shade Pound Cake. I have Pound Cake. I think Cupcake, Banana Bread. I have the Rose one, I think Cherry Blossom. I have so many of these Huda powders. I love them. This is one of my favorite setting powders. Also, similar to the Givenchy, I would say comparable to Chanel. Chanel is kind of my gold standard in loose powder, but this one is really great, certainly more affordable, and it lasts a really long time. I mean, it took me a long time to go through this powder. Complexion products are usually the easiest for me to go through, but I do have some eye products here as well. I have a Brow Freeze, which I must have finished this very early in the year last year because I don't really remember using this a lot. And then I also finished one of my Benefit 24-hour brow setters. I have 2 of these open in the drawer right now. This is my go-to brow setter. 4 brow pencils a year seems to be the going number. That's good to keep in mind. I need to double check my inventory. I think I have a couple of these ready to go, but if I only have 4, then I'll know towards the end of the year if there are any good sales. It would be a good time to pick up maybe 4 for the following year. I have 3 eyeliners here. The first one is a liquid. This is from Chantecaille. It's the Stilo Ultra Slim in brown, I believe. This is a really nice liquid eyeliner. It worked great for a long time, but then it dried out really quickly. You know, once it starts to dry out, it's gone. I don't know if you can really tell today, but I'm not wearing my typical liquid eyeliner on top. Sort of experimenting with doing a softer makeup look on a regular basis. So who knows, maybe I won't be using as much liquid eyeliner in the future this year. We'll see. And then I have 2 Sephora Ultimate Gel eyeliners. These are both waterproof. And this one sounds like there's something shaking in there. I think this one just broke on me and I couldn't get it to work. This is shade Brass Metallic. And then I also have shade Olive Glitter. I really like this formula, but I think it's so soft you have to be really careful. It just tends to break and then there's nothing left. These are the only 2 mascaras I was able to use up last year. I think the problem is I just have a lot of open mascara. So we're working on that. I think I finished this one really early because it's from Marc Jacobs. So you know it's old. This is the Marc Jacobs Blacker at Lash Lifting and Volumizing Mascara. I loved this when it first came out. And I think what happened is I used something else. I opened another one, and then finally I was like, oh, wait. I really liked the Marc Jacobs, and by now it's drying out. Let me quickly finish this. So I did end up using it up, and I remember by the end it was very flaky, but a great mascara. I mean, it's such a shame. I hope Marc Jacobs comes back with beauty products because he had some incredible products. This is one of my all-time favorites. This other one is from Chantecaille. It's the Longest Lash. I rubbed all of the writing off of it, but it is the Longest Lash. It's the one with peptides. I do really like the peptide aspect. The reason I like this mascara is because it just makes your lashes look incredible. It fans them out. It makes them look really fluffy. It's not clumpy. It does volume, length, separation, checks all of the boxes. A great mascara, but it's pricey. So you want to make sure you wait for a discount. These are my only lip product empties. I have 2 lip liners, and then I consider these to be 2 lip glosses. It's kind of a gloss and a lipstick, I suppose. This is the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump in shade White Peach. It was the first one I ever bought because I saw it went viral on TikTok. Everyone was saying how incredible it was. And sure enough, I really liked it. You get a little product at the tip. I did my best to scoop in there a little bit, but then I didn't want to just keep scooping. It gets kind of disgusting. So I used the entire thing up. I scooped out a little bit more, and now it's going in the trash. But I love the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump. I've purchased 3 other shades of this because it's so good. It's just really easy and it looks beautiful. It's a lipstick. It gives you color. It gives you gloss. It's plumping. This is perfect for me. This is such an easy everyday lip. And then the gloss is this Opal Magic from Charlotte Tilbury. There was a time I was using this every single day, and every time I filmed I would get so many comments. People would say, what's on your lips? What's on your lips? And it was always this lip gloss on top of a lip liner. Basically, that was all I was wearing. So beautiful. I don't love how chunky it gets because it has glitter. And I don't know, maybe actually you can kind of see little chunks in there. Maybe it's because it's old. But I feel like these lip glosses, because they're so much sparkle, they do feel sort of chunky and glittery right away. And by the time you get to the bottom, it just feels sort of gross going on the lips. I used up this Buxom Powerline lip liner in shade Smooth Spice. I was honestly surprised when I got to the end of this. Which I shouldn't be because I used it all the time. Obviously, I used it up. I love these lip liners because they have a really great brush. The shades are amazing. I also have Savvy Sienna. I so wanted to replace this during the last savings event, but I stopped myself because now I've built up a collection of nude lip liners and I really need to go through some of those first. But I absolutely would repurchase this again. And this is a Chanel lip liner. It's 156. I think it's beige natural. I was using this constantly as well. Beautiful color. But the crayon kind of cracked, so I'm basically already down to the nub. It's already really difficult to sharpen. And the crayon, what's left of the crayon, broke. It's more of a hassle than anything to use, so I'll just replace this when the time is right. Again, it's another nude, so I'm gonna hold off, but both of these are so pretty. I have two mini Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filters in two different shades. So this is shade 3 Fair. I like to use this as a primer beneath my makeup, and then I've also used up a 6.5 Deep. I was using this as a cream bronzer and I love it because it's more of a sheer formula. It looks really natural. When it first launched, it was such a big deal because it seemed like something really unique and different, and now there are just so many options out there. I'm still going to keep these in mind and I may replace them in the future. I'm going to stick to my no-buy for as long as possible, but I do really like the Hollywood Flawless filter and these are the perfect shades. It's very rare that I finish a highlighter, no pun intended, but this is from Rare Beauty. It's the shade Exhilarate. I love these highlighters. The reason I finished this one though is because I was using it a lot on the body and then it cracked, so I ended up dumping the remains, all of the little crumbles, into a large Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. So I guess technically I didn't really finish it, but I have an empty compact here, so I just included it in the video, but it's not like I really truthfully went through this entire highlighter. I think it would have taken me such a long time because you get a lot of product and also this highlighter is so bright, you only need the teeny tiniest bit. I was so sad when this one crumpled though because of all of the shades. This one I think is my favorite. Exhilarate. That basically does it for makeup, so we're about to move on to skincare, but I wanted to quickly show you I have 4 Sunless tanners, all from Loving Tan. This is one of my all-time favorite tanning brands, and if 4 sounds like a lot, the year before I actually went through, I think, 7 bottles of Sunless tanner. I must have been living it up in 2022 and really getting out of the house because I didn't do nearly as much last year. I only tanned half as much, but this is such a great mousse. I have a couple different versions. This is the Platinum Maximum, the 2-Hour Express, the 2-Hour Express with the rose, and then this is the Dark Deluxe Bronzing Mousse. I do really like the Express. I typically sleep in it overnight anyways, so I think the plain deluxe bronzing mousse in dark works perfectly. At the end of the day, I always double cleanse, so every year I go through quite a few makeup melt-away balms or makeup removing balms, and most of the time they're pharmacy. This is the Green Clean. I also have a Clearly Clean. This one was huge. And then I also used up a Wishful Clean Genie Cleansing Butter. I used it up, but I didn't love it as much as my pharmacy. I feel like I've used every makeup melting balm on the market, all of the luxury ones, less expensive ones. I always go back to the pharmacy because it's so gentle. It truly melts the makeup off your face. It removes everything, and then it's very easy to get rid of. It doesn't leave any sort of residue. It's not sticky. It's not too thick. This is just fast and efficient, and they have so many different unique smells now and flavors. There's just no real reason for me to ever use anything else. I also have 5 step 2 cleansers that I used up, And I didn't love all of these. Let's see. I used up this Tom Ford Research Cleansing Concentrate. Now this one I actually did like. You could tell the bottle almost looks green. It's very old, very gross from sitting in the shower. This mousse smells incredible, but I don't know if it's something I would replace. It's very luxurious. And it feels nice. I felt like it removed all of the makeup. It left my face feeling clean in the morning. So it did the job, but I don't know if it's such a standout. And I don't really love the idea of Tom Ford fragrance in my skincare. These were both sent to me complimentary. I didn't love them. I didn't hate them. I wouldn't purchase them or spend my own money on them. This is from In Beauty Project. It's the Foam Around Clarifying Daily Cleanser. I felt like this was mostly water. It just didn't really do much. Even though it has a nice foam because it's a foam cleanser, I felt like I needed to wash and wash again because it just didn't cleanse. So too watery in my opinion. And then this Good Molecules Rosewater Daily Cleansing Gel. This is too thick. And again, I didn't feel like it really cleaned my face. It wasn't... the lather just wasn't right. The gel was super thick and then it didn't really do anything else. So I used it up, but not something I really enjoyed using. Now this gel cleanser I've been restocking. These two are empty and then I'm almost done with a third bottle upstairs. This is from Youth to the People. It's their Kale and Green Tea Spinach Vitamin Superfood Cleanser. I like the fact that the bottles are glass, so you can recycle them and you just pick up a new glass bottle or you can change out the pump. It's been my go-to cleanser for a while now. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do when I get to the end of my next bottle. I may just go ahead and replace it because I don't like to make too many changes with my skincare, at least not with cleansing. One of the biggest skincare breakthroughs for me in 2023 is the fact that I found a really incredible dermatologist. So now I have somebody regularly that I go to who helps me with topical products. She's also done some laser treatments. She's doing my Clear and Brilliant on my chest, but she is incredible in terms of recommending products and prescriptions. I have to give most of the credit to my prescription strength products, but I was also using this retinol. This is from Obagi. It's the Obagi Medical. I think I still purchased this from Derm Store on sale. This is the Retinol 1.0 cream. I used the entire thing. I really liked this. And these are the two serums I finished. I've also been working on including vitamin C and being consistent. That's where I fail with vitamin C. I know it's one of those miracle ingredients. I mean, most dermatologists or aesthetics people I talk to, they always recommend tretinoin or retinol, vitamin C, and SPF. That's basically the trifecta. So I did do my best to incorporate more vitamin C, and I finished this Colleen Rothschild Vitamin C Brightening Serum. I love this so much. It's so gentle. The texture is really nice. And the smell is really good as well. So it was just really pleasant to use. And then Skin Fix has become one of my favorite brands. This is the Skin Fix Triple Lipid and Collagen Activating Serum. I didn't know anything about Skin Fix until I met with the founder of the brand actually at some point last year. And I remember during our meeting, she impressed me so much because she kept talking about the research and how all of their products are backed by research, which is not something you would know if you just stumbled into a Sephora and you were looking around at all of the skincare brands. And this serum feels really incredible. It feels nice and nourishing. It's not sticky or heavy. I really liked this. I would absolutely replace this serum in the future. I have a quick mix of products here before we get to the final category, which is moisturizer. I finished a couple eye creams last year, including the number 1 de Chanel. I don't think this one is refillable. This looks like it's recyclable, but not refillable. I know the moisturizer is refillable. I liked this eye cream. It's nice. It's sort of a medium texture. It's not super rich. It's not too lightweight. So it's a good day, night, kind of universal eye cream. I wouldn't say it was anything that special. Really nice, but not all that notable in my opinion. So I liked it. I'm glad I tried it. probably would not repurchase it again. And then I also used this Amore Pacific Time Response Eye Cream. This is the Eye Reserve Cream. I love this line. I wish I didn't because it's so pricey. Time Response, that line from Amore Pacific is insanely expensive, but the products feel so good. They give you that glass skin. It almost just sits right on top of your face, and it just feels like it's marinating into the skin, which is perfect for evening when I want to be really, really plump. I also used up this Tonique, Le Tonique Invigorating Toner from Chanel. Finally, it took me a long time to use this. And I finished my Rio Dio from Sol de Janeiro. I picked up the Beija Fleur version, and this is refillable. I think this one is refillable, so I'll be able to pick up a refill for the Rio Dio, but I love this. This is my favorite natural deodorant. It smells so good, and I feel like this is probably the best natural deodorant I've ever used. And finally, here are the 5 moisturizers I used in 2023. Starting with this one, I think this is the most recent one that I finished. This is from Lancôme. It's their Rénergie HPN 300 Peptide Cream. This launched in 2023, I believe. Really beautiful cream. I love anything with peptides. Peptides, ceramides, it's one of those ingredients you should always look for if you want anti-aging skincare. This supposedly has over 300 peptides. It feels so hydrating, so nourishing. This I would replace. I'm not sure what the price is because it was sent to me complimentary. I did a year-long partnership with Lancôme last year, but I love the cream. Their skincare is really incredible. I also really liked this skin fix, so I used the serum as well as this moisturizer. This is the Triple Lipid Peptide Cream. Again, peptides, it's one of those keywords that should really stand out to you when looking for moisturizers. It has lily root extract, seaweed, a peptide protein blend, and triple lipid complex. Anytime you see peptides, you know it's going to be good. This feels incredible on the skin as well. I think what I love so much about the Skin Fix skincare is the feel. It's the perfect kind of medium weight in that it feels like you're really hydrating the skin without overdoing it. And it's not too light either. It's middle of the road. Perfection. This Dr. Dennis Gross Vitamin C and Lactic Dewy Deep Cream, this is really rich, much more rich and dewy than what I'm used to. I think when I started using this, I was really dry, so it was kind of perfect timing. I liked this cream. It surprised me. Again, vitamin C is also one of those ingredients you want to look out for, and I would actually use this day or night because it is so rich. So I loved this one as well. Then here I have the Biossance Squalene and Vitamin C Rose Moisturizer. I really like this moisturizer. This is more of a gel. This is more daytime light cream if you want something that doesn't feel too heavy, too sticky. If you have more combination or oily skin, this would be great. Has vitamin C. It also has a plant-derived squalene. One thing I will say about this cream, doesn't have the best smell, which I know I said I don't really like fragrance in my skincare, and I don't, but then I don't like skincare that doesn't smell good, so it's kind of unfair. It doesn't smell bad, but it's more of a natural fragrance-free brand, so it's a good thing, but just know that it's not going to compare to the Lancôme, for example, which is usually pretty heavily fragranced. And then the last one is this Moisturizing Renewal Cream from Revive. This is the Nightly Retexturizing Night Cream. This felt so intense on my skin. I felt like I had to kind of build up to using it. It almost burned every single time I applied this because it was just so strong, a little bit too active. It is a night renewal cream. It's retexturizing, but I honestly felt like I was melting the top layer of skin off in a good way. I mean, that is sort of the point. You want to create new skin, get that fresh new skin to the surface. So it did its job. I could feel it working. Because it is a little bit more intense and maybe not such an enjoyable experience, I'm not sure I would replace this, especially because I've been using a lot of more active serums, other topical products. Now that I'm really into all of my prescriptions, I don't know where this would fit in because it would just be too much for my skin. You want to use active products, but you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to ruin the skin barrier. So if you're not ready for a retinol or a tretinoin or something prescription strength, but you're looking for something that's going to give you like a really smooth skin in the morning, then this would be worth checking out. It definitely works. You will feel it. So that completes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you liked seeing all of the products I finished and hearing my final thoughts. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. Hopefully you feel inspired to start your own empties project for the year. I promise you will not be disappointed. It is well worth the time. As always, I will be linking anything notable, anything that I highly recommend. I'll go ahead and throw a link in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.